So Manus have just created their own sort of alternative to OpenClaw. You can see it right here. This is a new personal agent available that you can direct inside, for example, Telegram, right? So you can see here next to OpenClaw, which I've got on this side, also have, for example, Manus. Now, you can actually build apps directly from Telegram. You can operate Manus, which is an AI agent, an autonomous AI agent, directly from Telegram, right? So, for example, we actually said this morning, create a Pomodoro timer app. This should be hosted on a computer, not as a URL. And then you can actually see inside Manus, it created the project, and we've got a working app right here, built in one single click, operated from Telegram. Now, the benefit of this is, number one, it's running in the cloud, so you don't need a local computer like you would with, for example, OpenClaw. You don't have to connect any APIs. It's like a one-click setup. You can operate it from your mobile device whenever you're out. Also, the other cool thing that I like about Manus is that it is connected to all these different tools that you wouldn't have connected inside OpenClaw unless you added individual APIs, which can get quite expensive, right? So, for example, Manus itself can create images, it can create videos, etc., and you get the power of all of that inside something like Telegram. So it is a really useful option, especially if you're not very technical at all. So that's the thing. Appson says, doesn't this scare you that Manus can retain memory? I mean, it's the same with OpenClaw, right? OpenClaw can have a memory as well. And any of these APIs you're using, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if you're using an API and it's a cloud-based one, then in the same way, anything that you do with that API is kind of tracked, right? And so it's the same with Manus. Now, the thing is, well, if you're just using this for AI automation and you just doing the basics and that sort of thing, then it's pretty simple and easy to operate. Here's another example. So if we go back to Telegram here, you can see that we've actually created a website for this using Manus. So we said build out a street racer game, and then it built it out and completed it right here. And then if you want to see another example, we actually said, let's scroll up. We said create a quick website for juliangoldie.com. He said I'll get started on it. The other cool thing is, like, it'll work on it for 5 to 10 minutes in the background, and then once it's completed, it will actually message you a few minutes later saying, hey, this is done, right? And I tend to find that's more reliable than using something like OpenClaw, which can break and cut off, and sometimes the API is not working, or sometimes you install a new update and then it stops working, etc. So you can see, for example, at 4:55, we gave it the command to build the website, and then at 5:06, the website was built and deployed on a subdomain, right? So you can see an example of what this looks like. This is the website that we built directly from the chat inside Manus, and that was pretty simple and easy to create, right? And then we can preview it inside the chat. We can see the chat history, and we can work on our project. We can publish it over here. We already have it deployed on a subdomain, and we get basically the whole power of Manus, but inside something as simple as Telegram, which is really cool. And then you can operate this wherever you go. So what I've actually done is I've created a full guide on this using the Telegram agent blueprint, and you can basically just operate this from the cloud. So you've got like 3 different layers, I would say. Number one, you've got the command layer, right? So something like Telegram is a command layer. You can send a text, you can send a voice note, you can send a photo or file. That's your command to kick off and start operating Manus. Then you have the execution layer. So behind the scene, Manus inside Manus LM is breaking your requests into subtasks. It can research, write, generate images, process data, build documents, and more. And then finally, you have the delivery layer. So the finished output goes back into Telegram. You get that link, you get that PDF, you get that summary, etc. Right? So it's 3 layers: command, execute, deliver. That is the Telegram agent blueprint that we've put together for you. So for example, here we could say, okay, we could, for example, like create a profile image generator. We could create a lead research. We could do multilingual content repurposing, etc. And I've actually created a 30-day plan on exactly how you can use this stuff. But yeah, essentially, that's how it works. Now, for example, if we wanted to generate like a video or an image using Manus, we could say, okay, create a video plus an image of a cat eating pancakes, right, inside the chat here. And then if we go back to Manus, we can start using that directly. Now, you can also switch between different levels. So you've got Manus 1.6 Max for high performance stuff, 1.6, and Manus Lite. And then you can see here, for example, inside Manus on Telegram, where we said create a video and an image of a cat eating pancakes. It's like, right, I'll create both a video, and that it should take about 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll send them over as soon as they're ready, right? So basically anything that you can do inside Manus, you can now do inside this sort of OpenClaw alternative. Yeah, and it's pretty simple. The Irish developer says, are you AI like your videos? Not as far as I know. And then, for example, here, we even got stuff like, for example, the top 5 AI news stories in our niche and stuff like that, right? So you can see how this works daily. But yeah, anything that you can do inside Manus, you can do inside Telegram now and just operate it from the cloud. You can actually go over to the agents chat on this section, and this is the same conversation that you've got with Telegram, but you can see what it's working on and that sort of thing and what the progress is. You can also connect apps, so you can connect Gmail, Calendar, Drive, your browser. You've got GitHub, even Meta Ads Manager, which is pretty crazy. And then you can add a bunch more connectors over here, right? So if you click on add connectors, you can see all these different apps that you can add directly to here, including, for example, like HeyGen, right? So you could create like avatar videos directly from Manus. You can connect Line. What else we got here? Zoom info, Canva, loads of different apps you can connect. And these are like one-click installs. So I do think it's a lot less technical than using something like OpenClaw normally. It breaks less, it's easier to set up, it's easier to update, it's easier to run in the cloud, and you don't need a local device. And I think if you're just non-technical, this might be one of the best ways to do it. Antoine says, good content. Any advice on creating larger applications? Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, it depends what you want to build, but you can use, for example, something like Cursor, Anti-Gravity. These are good options for building larger applications. The other one that I've seen that worked pretty well in the past was Data Button, but I don't hear anyone talking about it anymore. But yeah, and that was another one that I actually created a jobs board with Data Button, and that was like a larger application, but it worked really well. So that's basically it for using Manus. Just to recap here, in terms of what we've looked at today, what is Manus Agents? It's a brand new update that lets you run a full AI agent inside Telegram. It's not a chatbot, it's a multi-step task execution agent that handles research, content, documents, images, videos, voice, and lots more. It can collapse, etc., as you've seen already. How to set up, you just go to Manus, open the agents tab, scan the QR code with Telegram, and you start messaging it. You don't need to code, you don't need any API keys, you don't need to use terminal, and it gets set up in about 60 seconds. I've talked you through the Telegram agent blueprint and live examples of what we've built with it already. I've given you the 30-day blueprint. If you want that, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And just to recap here as well, I want to talk you through some empowering beliefs that will help you win with this stuff, right? Because some people think it's harder or it's difficult, etc., right? Jimmy says, I haven't seen the AI avatar walk on an under the desk treadmill yet. Besides, I might do a recording where I just put the AI avatar on a treadmill and then we add that to our collection. That would be a lot of people didn't like the treadmill one, so I stopped doing it. But yeah, thank you for saying I'm funny. So if you go back to the empowering beliefs here, some people say, well, AI agents are too complicated for me to set up. Here's the thing, people used to say the same thing about email, social media, then websites, and every single time these tools only get easier. Now, Manus agents literally require you to scan a QR code with your phone camera. If you can take a selfie, you can set up an AI agent and connect it to Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever, right? And the barrier is not technical. The barrier is the story you're telling yourself. So friends of mine who are not technical at all have set this up in like under 60 seconds. The hardest part is really just finding the Telegram app in your store. That's it, right? Other people will say, well, I need to be at my computer to use AI properly. Actually, no. You can use this, for example, on your phone. You can use this on Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever. Pretty simple to operate from anywhere in the world. Other people will say, well, I'll set this up later when I have more time. But, that's where you really miss out on your goals, right? You don't want to wait on this stuff. Like, test it as soon as you can. The thing is, like, every day you wait, someone in your niche is building the systems that you're planning to get to. And I would just stay focused on making sure you test this stuff out early, because the earlier you understand it, the more you can compound on your agent AI automation skills and start using this and figuring out ways to improve your business. I also want to talk about the old way versus the new way. So, for example, the old way was really opening up your laptop, logging into 5 different AI tools, copying and pasting between them, and spending 2 hours on one task. The new way is that now with Manus AI agents or OpenClaw, you can send one Telegram message and get the finished output delivered to your chat. The old way was like hiring a researcher, waiting 3 days for a report, go back on forth on revisions. The new way is you send a voice note and get a structured research report in minutes. And the old way was creating content briefs, SOPs, proposals, video notes, video scripts, email sequences, etc. The new way is you can get your agent to just do all of that with a single Telegram message. Pretty simple and easy. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boarding. If you want to get the notes from today, you can see that inside the AI Profit Boarding classroom here. This is my AI automation community that helps you scale, save time, and automate your business with AI. You can see the full section on Manus AI agents right here. If you want to get the video notes, the 30-day plan, the framework, etc., it's all inside this section, along with the limiting beliefs to help you really figure out and crack the code on this. And we have over 100 prompts on how you can use this, for example, for content creation or research or client work or operations, etc. Everything you want to automate is inside here. You can also get a full course on OpenClaw if you prefer to use that too. We have courses on Moltbot. We actually test new updates like ZeroClaw and update with new video tutorials and step-by-step guides like you can see here. So if you want to learn AI automation, if you want to stay updated, if you want to stay focused, this is the best place to do it.